Yo, Sleepy Sheepy here. Today I wanted to talk about the Lightning Ram Ash of War. This is an Ash of War that I expected to be kind of a meme and not actually that great, but using the Shard of Alexander as well as the cracked tier to boost lightning attacks, this on a dexterity build is crazy powerful. I have had a really high success rate with invasions using this, and using it as a turn and burn, you get hyper armor that really allows you to negotiate most of the damage and just punish the aggressive play that you commonly see from invaders. So we're going to go ahead and look at some of these invasions, but honestly, I do recommend people give it a try and not just write it off as kind of something that's silly, because it's so strong and it also looks hilarious. So that's a really nice benefit to it. Let's go ahead and jump into the invasions. Alright, to start this one off, we have a little bit of a rough time. We get hit by this PvE, and then there's the Magma Ash of War that gets us, and then there's also a Madness Snipe that takes us down quite a bit of health as well, pops our bubble tier. But then we get the Ash of War Lightning Ram rolling, and we're able to take out this first Phantom with no problem really. We've got low health and we need to roll away just to regroup, but we can use the terrain to our advantage there. And then this next player, we try to take advantage of their aggression too. They still seem to feel like they're in control because they are outnumbering me, and they have the dual greatsword set up, which is pretty powerful. But I just keep backing up, trying to get them to swing at me, and then when I feel that I can time it correctly with a trade, I go for the Ash of War Lightning Ram again, and that takes them out as well. And now that it's just a 1v1, it's not too difficult. We, just come in with our swords. There's not much this person can do. And then we see that they're panic rolling, so I felt like we had enough stamina to start chasing them down with the Lightning Ram. And yeah, that's a 3v1. Everyone died from that Ash of War, so it just shows how powerful it is. Alright, so this next one is another 3v1. This one was kind of interesting. They hung out a little bit. They didn't play too aggressively. I felt like they wanted to give me a little bit of a chance. So once I had enough space, I just went for the Lightning Ram Ash of War and was able to get a full chase down on this guy. He put up his shield at the end, and it just did enough stamina damage to guard break him, so that was pretty cool. Now, I think they kind of appreciated the meme of this, but I was, there to kill them, so I tried to aggro both of them at the same time, and the one player with the daggers actually had a pretty effective build. The blood loss was enough to stagger me out of the Lightning Ash of War, so that was something to be aware of. And then I definitely mix it up with the straight swords. The straight swords are nice just because they have a shorter range attack, so they can kind of bait your opponents into being a little bit closer to you. When you're using a longer weapon, like let's say the Great Lance or something, people are going to kind of keep their distance, but when you have the straight swords, they know that you need to be up at close and personal to get your attacks in, so they might space a little differently. And that can be really nice for the Lightning Ram Ash of War because you can just start rolling. I would frequently use this Ash of War on fist weapons as well. I think those really get you up close and personal. And then you just really hyper armor through their next attack when you get close to them. So it is important that you maintain a decent amount of stamina for the full chase down, and then that you have enough health to just tank anything that's coming your way. Having a bubble tier is pretty helpful. You could also use the tier that boosts your HP as you take damage. So eventually they both get aggressive. I think I do about 1200 damage on that one Phantom. Regroup again, get my health back up. I only had one flask after that Phantom died, so I'm down to no heals. So I have to play this a little bit more carefully. This person has a Rune Arc on, so it's not totally clear how much health they have. But the straight swords definitely do quite a bit of damage, and then we're able to Lightning Ram them at least once to get a decent chunk of HP down and finish them off with a straight sword. That's a common thing that I'll do, is use the Lightning Ram Ash of War, and then if I get staggered out of it or something, I'll use just a quick attack. Straight swords are nice because they have enough range to usually take an opponent out, but you don't need to worry about something like a slow attack speed that you get from a longer weapon. So there is a give and take in terms of your attack speed and the range of your weapon and how you want to optimize to use this Ash of War, but there are a lot of different ways to make it effective. I would say one of the biggest things to be aware of is just how much poise damage you're going to take from what your opponents are bringing out. So you'll notice that Ash of War with the Magma Blades is going to be enough to stagger me out of the Lightning Ram. So I try to avoid this player and not get hit by their Ash of War. Something like Moonveil, that's also going to have an Ash of War that will stagger you out of your attack animation. You could use a Bubble Tier to boost your poise if you wanted. That wouldn't be a bad idea. But you definitely want to use at least one tier to boost your lightning attack, since that's really going to improve the damage output substantially, since damage output is multiplicatively stacked in Elden Ring. So it's not just built off of a flat number. So if you have the Shard of Alexander as well as the Crack tier, you're going to get exponentially more damage output than if you just had one of the two. That pretty much covers everything that I wanted to say about the Lightning Ram Ash of War. I'm just going to let the rest of these invasions kind of speak for themselves. They're all pretty funny. I really enjoyed using this Ash of War. It's a good way to kind of break up some of the monotony of the usual Ash of War. Like, everybody knows that Flaming Strike and Horror Shaker are extremely effective, but some of these are actually totally viable in meta level invasions, and they're absolutely worth integrating into your build. As always, thanks so much for watching. I do appreciate all of the support. If you have any recommendations for Ashes of War you'd like to see, or just something that you don't normally see in Elden Ring invasions or duels, I'm always happy to change up my builds and mess with something that might be kind of more interesting or offbeat. So definitely let me know in the comments. And yeah, thanks so much for your support. See you later.